And then you have to ask why. What's the reason for that statement? So if you say, I believe in Islam, it's very, they have every right to say, why do you believe in Islam? It's a revelation. How do you know? Because the Quran says so. Well, how do you know that the Quran is true? Because it's from God. Well, how do you know? Because it's a revelation. Well, how do you know that? Because God said so. Where did he say that? In the Quran. You know, that drives atheists crazy. That's called circular reasoning. You're not. Now, if you say the Quran is a miracle, and if you'd give me 20 years to study and master Arabic, I can prove it. And you could. Really. But you'd have to take my word. Now you're in taqleed. You know, Al-Baqallani proved it. It's called I'jaz al-Quran. He proved that the Quran is a miracle in terms of its language. He showed how every single Jahili poet has lousy lines. Even the best of them. They just have bad lines. But he showed how rhetorically, by the standards of rhetoric, he said that you cannot find any way to improve on making a statement in the Quran. There's nothing, he said, that you could rhetorically tweak. You know, editing, if you've ever done editing, you can always make something better. But at a certain point, you can't say it better. There are certain things you cannot say them better than the way they've been said. Right? To be or not to be. You're not going to improve on that. It's just you're not going to improve on that. To be or not to be, that is the question. You're not going to improve on that. Like, should I exist or shouldn't I exist? Should I commit suicide or shouldn't I commit suicide? Right? I mean, there's other ways to say what he was saying. But as far as the English language goes, you're not going to improve on that. Love is not love that alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. You're not going to improve on that. I don't think if you sat there, love is not love that alters when it alteration finds. You can't, it doesn't sound better to say, it's not really love if it changes when the one you love changes. Same meaning. It's just, it's not the same, right? And so he showed that, but that takes a long time to learn that, you know. So how do we prove to somebody who is not, why we should believe in? Well, it depends on who you're talking to. If they're an atheist, then you really have to take that argument first and foremost. Without revelation, you have to take it to a rational level of talking about whether it's rational to believe that there's not an intelligent force behind creation. The idea that this just popped into existence from nothing. If they're Abrahamic, then you would have to argue what the Bible says, like the Old Testament, because they believe in the Bible. So there's a starting point. The Bible says that in the Old Testament it says the difference between a true prophet and a false prophet. If what the prophet says comes true, then he's a true prophet. If what he says does not, then he's a false prophet. So we have plenty of evidence to show that our Prophet ﷺ prophesied things that were impossible to know in the 7th century and have come true. Many things.